Hi, I'm Skip Sharp, W9REL. I'm the Wisconsin Aries Races Assistant Section Emergency Coordinator for Training. Welcome to Training Bulletin number 9, ARRL Field Day 2019. Every year, on the fourth full weekend in June, the ARRL sponsors one of the largest operating events in the world.
On June 22nd and 23rd, amateur radio operators from around the country will take part in Field Day 2019, a celebration of the science, skills, and service that is amateur radio. A special treat this year will be Field Day Exchange fully supporting FT8. Visit the Field Day site in your local area and get an up-close look at the state-of-the-art equipment and technologies that ham radio operators use to provide communication services in emergency situations, support local events, and talk with fellow hams around the world. Let us know how you Field Day. Tag your photos and videos of the event on social media with the hashtag ARRLFD. For more info, visit arrl.org/field-day.
Martha, come here a moment. Look, I wasn't there this morning, was it?
No.
Starlight.
What?
Ham radio operators. You know what they do to radio and television reception?
Daddy,
Yeah, Ellen?
I don't know what's the matter, but I was listening to my radio while I was studying, and all of a sudden I began picking up these weird voices.
Ham radio operators?
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
In his June 2nd Century editorial, Howard Michael, WB2ITX, ARRL's Chief Executive Officer, established 3 goals for Field Day 2019. The first is skill. Learn a new skill and practice up on some old ones. Service. Service to our served agencies. Service to the community. Service to the public at large. And discovery. Amateur radio is such a diverse and multifaceted hobby that there's always something new to discover. Field Day is so many different things. It's kind of a contest. It's a chance to get together with your ham radio friends. It's a chance for a cookout, maybe even a campout, who knows. It's a public relations opportunity. Invite the media to visit your Field Day site and show them the services that ham radio can provide. It's a chance to show off ham radio to the public. Hand the microphone to somebody and let them talk on the radio. You might just have a convert on your hands. It's a chance to sharpen your ham radio skills, and it's an opportunity to discover new things. So, Field Day is a day of service to be spent with friends playing radio. At Field Day, there may be some cooking going on, and where there's cooking, there's certainly going to be eating, and the chance to practice camaraderie among good friends.
We wanted to tell you that we have no idea why we're here, and we kind of wonder why we have 18,000 antennas put up in one tiny little parkland, but this is what we do.
We are hams.
We are hams, and we are never short of antennas.
You may have a chance to meet a new friend, and the art of amateur radio will certainly be practiced.
Kilo 6 Alpha Golf Lima.
Okay, excuse me there, Frank.
Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention the dates? Oh, registration, signing up. Here's good news. You don't have to register. You don't have to sign up. All you have to do is get yourself and your radio out into the field and make some contacts. ARRL has produced a lengthy but very informative packet of information for how to operate during field day. So, to get to that information, open your favorite web browser. Up here in the URL field, type in arrl.org/field-day. And here's the information page containing the information on Field Day 2019. When you get to this page, scroll down, keep scrolling, scroll a little more. And now, when you get to this tab right here called Overview, go down and click on the link for rules, entry forms, and such. Then click on the Field Day packet. And voila, there you are. Here's all the information you need to know for how to operate Field Day 2019. There's a lot of really good information in this Field Day packet, including the Field Day rules. For instance, here's Section 1. It talks about eligibility. It says that Field Day is open to all amateurs in the areas covered by the ARRL and the RAC, that's the Radio Amateurs of Canada, and all the countries within IARU Region 2. Section 2 of the rules sets out the object for Field Day. It says the primary objective is to work as many stations as you can on all amateur radio bands. But then it goes on to say that in doing so, it gives you an opportunity to learn to operate in abnormal situations in less than optimal conditions. Then it says something I think is really interesting. It says, Field Day places a premium on developing skills to meet the challenges of emergency preparedness. Section 4 of the rules talks about entry categories. There are station classifications including A, B, C, D, E, and F. And there's other good information as well, including exchange. That means when you make a contact, what do you say to them? What do they say to you? Section 6 is miscellaneous rules. Section 7 talks about how to score your contacts, how to score your Field Day site through the length of the operation. Section 8 talks about reporting. How do you report the outcome of your Field Day site to ARRL? Section 9 is miscellaneous, blah, blah, blah.
Hi, I'm Michael, KB9GBR, your host for Ham Radio Q&A. Thanks for joining me on these little amateur radio adventures. Well, Field Day is fast approaching, and you see this field behind me in a few days is going to be bustling with amateur radio activity. Every year on the fourth full weekend of June, ARRL Field Day occurs. And with that, you'll find over 40,000 hams in North America taking part in what's billed as one of the world's largest amateur radio operating activities. Oftentimes, these hams are going to set up in non-traditional locations, like this field behind me, oftentimes in a public park or other settings. So, doing so, setting up in locations like that, can cause a myriad of challenging, and one notwithstanding is safety. Safety for your operators, participants, and also for any visitors and guests that might be touring your station. So today we're going to talk about safety. The ARRL's Field Day Rules packet has a great safety briefing sheet that we're going to follow through. If you do everything that's on the sheet, check off the list, you'll get a 100-point bonus, which is a really good deal. So let's delve into the sheet and see what we need to do to gain that 100-point bonus for ARRL Field Day. First on the list, the safety officer or a qualified designated assistant was on site for the duration of the event. Your safety officer may not be on scene the entire 24 hours and plus the setup and teardown required for Field Day. So it's important. So just like it's important to have a control operator to maintain proper operation of the stations, you need safety officers or designees during the entire time you're out at the Field Day site. Number 2, fuel for the generator is properly stored. Fuel should be kept away from the generator and also from operating radio equipment. In that same vein, you've got a fire extinguisher on hand and it's appropriately located. Is the fire extinguisher properly charged? Does it work? Does everyone know how to use it? And with that, make sure you also have a first aid kit on hand and participants that are first aid, CPR, and AED trained for on-site for the full duration of field day. How many of your club members have CPR training? This might be a great opportunity to have a refresher class to get more of those operators trained for CPR and first aid. Access to NWS alerts and for inclement weather. I recommend a primary and a secondary source for receiving no weather information and alerts during the entire field day event, such as through using your smartphone and also a NOAA weather radio. Don't rely on one means or have the tornado sirens be your only way of being warned for inclement weather. Are your tent stakes properly installed and marked? If you're pounding anything into the ground, call Digger's Hotline first to check for underground cables and pipes at your field day site. All temporary structures are properly secured and marked. This includes towers, guy lines, masts, ropes at your site. Also, is your site secure from tripping hazards? Cables, ropes, power cords, all can cause trip and fall hazards. Route those cables out of traffic areas and mark hazards with cones, safety flags, or other types of markers. Is your site set up in a neat and orderly manner to reduce hazards? With that, provide a gathering place for participants and guests that's away from operations. Keep people away from antennas and support structures and route cables away from those traffic areas. Keeping the working area neat and tidy will enhance the overall safety of your entire field day operation. Is your station and equipment properly grounded? Does your generator and electrical lines require effective grounding for shock hazards? Station grounds are also needed for proper operation. And towers and support structures need to be grounded for lightning protection. Make sure to call Digger's Hotline again before pounding any ground rods into the earth. Access to contact police, fire, EMS, rescue if needed. Nowadays, most parks and other public locations have adequate cell phone service. But if your field day setup takes you to a more remote location, are you able to call for help? Safety officer is designated point of contact for all public safety officials. Be it a curious police officer or response due to a call for help, the safety officer should be the first person to brief the public safety officials when they arrive. Also, minimize risks and control hazards to ensure no injuries to the public. Visitors to the site may not know of the inherent risks of amateur radio operation. Brief them on any hazards and ensure that they comport themselves in a safe and orderly manner. Monitor participants for proper hydration to ensure an adequate water supply is available. I think this is one of the most important safety considerations out at the field day site. Know the signs of heat exhaustion and sunstroke. Make sure everyone is properly hydrated. You don't need to physically exert yourself in order to become dehydrated. It can happen on a hot, humid day or in cool and breezy weather. Of course, appointing a safety officer and completing a checklist doesn't absolve anyone from safety responsibilities. Safety is everyone's duty. Be aware of your surroundings and the safety and welfare of others and yourself. If you see something unsafe, report it and then fix it. I'm Michael, KB9VBR. Have a safe and fun field day. Hope to hear you on the air, 73.
Okay, taking a look at some of these safety officer checklist items. First, safety officer or a designated assistant has to be on the scene at all times. Generator fuel must be properly stored. Okay, rule of thumb, store all fuel at least 15 feet away from all sources of ignition. Keep fire extinguishers on hand and properly located. Note that I say fire extinguishers, plural. 2 is 1, 1 is none. A first aid kit is always a good thing to have on hand. And access to the National Weather Service for severe weather alerts. Always good to have a weather radio handy. Tent stakes need to be properly installed and marked. If somebody takes a header over an improperly installed tent stake, chances are you'll need that first aid kit. Temporary antennas need to be properly secured and marked. If somebody clotheslines themselves on a guy wire, well, you may need that first aid kit again, plus you may be out an antenna. The site needs to be secure from tripping hazards. Again, first aid kit. The site must be kept neat and orderly. Nobody likes a messy field day site. Station and equipment must be properly grounded. We'll come back to this one. So, access to a means to contact emergency services should that become necessary. Again, have a plan B in case your cell phones don't work. The safety officer is the designated point of contact should public safety officials show up at your field day site. Minimize risks and control hazards to ensure no injuries to the public, or operators, or staff, or anybody for that matter. And monitor participants for proper hydration and ensure that adequate supplies of drinking water are available. Oh, and did I forget to mention the dates? Okay, about that grounding business. This is the ARRL's book on grounding and bonding for the radio amateur. And sure enough, on page 3-24, there is a section on portable and vehicle-mounted generators. Here's what it says. It's okay to use a ground rod connected to your generator if you want to, but you don't have to. Sounds like lawyer language to me. So, I dug out the operator's manual for my generator, and sure enough, it talks about grounding. Here's what that says. Consult a qualified electrician, electrical inspector, or local agency. More lawyer language. Here's where I did find something more definitive. It's an OSHA fact sheet, and it talks about grounding requirements for portable and vehicle-mounted generators. Here's what it says. Under the following conditions, a portable generator need not be grounded through a ground rod if a couple of conditions are met. The first is that the generator supplies only equipment mounted on the generator or connected by cord and plug, and all those cords must be appropriately sized and have grounding outlets like these. The other stipulation is that non-current carrying metal parts of the generator, including the outlets attached to the generator, need to be bonded together and to the generator frame. Thus, rather than connect to a grounding rod, the generator's frame replaces the grounding rod electrode. So is your station properly grounded? If it meets these conditions, yes, it is. RF exposure. This is a controversial topic and way too deep for this presentation. However, I do strongly recommend that you look at a YouTube video by David Kassler, KE0OG. Here's the URL that will get you to his video. So go to field day, either by yourself or hook up with another group going to field day, but go to field day. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the camaraderie.
We are hams.
Don't forget to make a new friend. But most of all, don't forget the fun. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention the dates?